Bonjour, it's Mrs. Gibbons here. Hope you're all well. So this week we are going to move on to something new. We've obviously been talking about our families recently, and we're going to move on to talking about our pets, which obviously can be an important part of your family. So we are learning to be able to recognise and say the names of different animals in French, and also to understand the rules for when we're talking about one animal in the singular and also the plural. So we're going to start by going through the names of some different pets. So I'm going to go through all of these, and then what I'd like you to do is rewind it and keep listening to them until you feel confident that you can remember what they all are, and then we're going to be able to use them. Okay, so as usual, we are using the article un or une as a little reminder. That means a, but we have un for masculine nouns and une for feminine nouns. Again, I know we've talked about this in the past. Just because it's an un does not mean that, for example, your dog is male. It's just that a dog is a masculine noun, so we'd always refer to it using the article un. So as we're going through, I'll introduce it, and it'll either have un or une in front of it. Okay, so a dog is un chien. Un chien. A cat, remember often we have this sort of silent consonant, so it's un chat. Un chat. A fish is un poisson. Un poisson. A hamster is un hamster. Un hamster. A guinea pig is, this is quite a long one, this one, un cochon d'Inde. Un cochon d'Inde. A rabbit is un lapin. Un lapin. A horse is un cheval. Un cheval. And a snake is un serpent. Un serpent. This is a funny one to say. This is a bird, un oiseau. Un oiseau. Okay, so you might notice now we're on to feminine nouns. So we would say une. So une souris is a mouse. Une souris. Spider, I'm not sure how many of you have a spider as pets, but some people do. Une araignée. Une araignée. And a tortoise. Une tortue. Une tortue. Okay, so I want you to look at this picture now and go through and see how many you can remember. If you can't remember many, then I'd like you to rewind and go through them again. You could jot them down as you go as a little memory aid. And then when you've done that as many times as you feel you need, then you could pause the video here and actually work through the pictures and see if you can remember what they are. So could you say un poisson, une araignée, une souris, un cheval, un hamster, etc. So can you rewind, listen to those pronunciations a few times until you feel confident, and then see if you can work through these pictures and remember what they all are in French. When you've got to that point, then obviously you can move on to the next section. Okay, so tu as un animal à la maison means do you have a pet at home? So do you have a pet? Tu as un animal à la maison. If you want to say yes, I have got a whatever, you'd say oui, which is yes. And then j'ai, which means I have. We've seen that before. So you say oui, j'ai, and then obviously you can say what animal you do have. And you can add a little bit of extra information to that sentence by carrying on and saying qui s'appelle, who is called, and then the name of the animal. Don't forget, if you're talking in the plural, if you're talking about more than one pet, when you write s'appelle, it would be with an ENT on the end, but you'd still pronounce it in the same way. If you don't have a pet, like me, I don't have a pet, I would say non, je n'ai pas d'animal. I don't have an animal or a pet. Okay. So some people have more than one pet. So you need to be able to use those animals in the plural. So talking about more than one. So if we looked at this sentence here, we're saying j'ai un chat, I have a cat, et, and, deux lapins, two rabbits. So that makes a total of 3 animals, trois animaux. So you might notice here that we add an S when we're writing it, but we don't pronounce it when we say it. So j'ai un chat et deux lapins. I have a cat and 2 rabbits. We've talked about this again in the past, but when we're talking the plural, you don't need the un or une because that means a. And you wouldn't say I have a cat and a 2 rabbits. So you replace the word for a with the number. Okay, so j'ai 2 chiens et 3 poissons. I have 2 dogs and 3 fish. Again, we've added the S to make it plural when it's written, but we don't actually have to pronounce that S. Okay, slightly different now. If you can notice the difference for these 2 pets, you say j'ai 2 souris et 4 oiseaux. So before I tell you the answer, I just want you to look here at these and see if you can tell me what is different about making these 2 animals plural. Okay, I'll give you a bit of thinking time. So for the word souris, which is mouse, it doesn't change. Whether it's singular or plural, you still spell it the same. And for the word oiseau, when you make it plural, instead of adding an S, you add an X. Again, you don't pronounce that X, but you do change it. So like animal changes to animaux in the plural as well. So there are sometimes words that don't follow the normal rule. So the general rule is add an S to make something plural, but there are certain words that don't follow the rule and we just have to learn them as we're going. So basically what I've just been saying there, these animals all just have an S on the end to make them plural, which is what most of them do. And oiseau, if it was plural, 5 oiseaux, 5 birds, I have to put an X on the end. And souris, that's actually plural, une souris, a mouse, 6 souris, 6 mice, doesn't change. Un animal, a pet, 7 animaux, 7 animals, it does change at the end there. Instead of the AL, we put AUX. So it's just worth noting that it's not always straightforward. We have to learn those sort of irregular ones that don't follow the normal patterns. Okay, so that's just a little recap. Can you think of another animal that we've looked at that ends in AL? Because that might affect how we make it plural. Let's give you a few seconds to have a think. Okay, so the animal that we looked at earlier that ends in AL is cheval, a horse. So have a think. If I want to say I have 2 horses, how would I change cheval? Okay, so hopefully you've got that you will change it to chevaux. Okay. If you don't have an animal, as we've mentioned, you say je n'ai pas d'animal, but you might actually want an animal. You might want a pet. So you could say je voudrais, which means I would like, and then you could list what animals you might like. So I know my children would love a dog. So if you ask my son, he would say je voudrais un chien. I would like a dog. Okay, you might want more than one animal. So you might want to say I would like 5 cats. Je voudrais 5 chats. Okay, so je voudrais is I would like. Okay, now the next few activities are on a worksheet which you can find on the website. However, I know not everyone can print off. So I've also put the activities on the slides so that you could pause the video, complete each activity that way instead. So if you can print off, this worksheet is on the website and you can go and have a go at it. But if not, Well, I'll go through the activities now anyway, and if you want to do it without printing off, just pause the video on each one. So this first activity, you are matching up. So we've got people here talking about their pets, and you've got some pictures, so you will just need to match up. So j'ai un chien et un hamster. I've got a dog and a hamster. You'd look through and find the correct one and draw a line between them. Okay. Obviously, if you're just doing it without printing, you can just do it on the screen. That's fine. Okay. The next one. Sorry about that. I just had to quickly pause my recording. Okay, so we're up to the next activity. Can you work out how to say the following things in French? So you can look back at the previous slide, or it will be on the worksheet. See if you can work out how you would write that in French. And then we're going to do a bit of maths now. So if someone asks the question, tu as un animal à la maison? Do you have a pet at home? And someone said, oui, j'ai un chat et deux lapins. I have a cat and 2 rabbits. Then the total there would be 3 animaux, 3 animals. So can you work out the total animals for both of those speech bubbles? And then finally, could you write down the rule for plurals in French that we went through earlier? And can you remember which words don't follow that standard rule? And then could you try filling in this table or copying down on a piece of paper this table with the animal in the plural? This one, and quand we use a frog, it follows the normal rules, so you should be able to do that quite easily. And then you can always write down the endings that don't follow the rule and what they change to here. Okay, so finally, what I'd quite like you to do is go back through the video and make yourself a vocabulary sheet for all the animals we have learnt today. So you need to make sure you include the article, not une. So you might, if you've got coloured pencils, that might be useful when you're writing to remind you that un is masculine, une is feminine. And then you could try writing a sentence about what animals you have or would like to have. So j'ai is I have, or je voudrais, I would like. Okay, so as usual, feel free to email a photo of your work to me or to your class teacher, or tweet us so you can show us what you've been getting up to in your French. Okay, take care, au revoir.